Good afternoon. My name is Dan Betzler, and I am the District Coordinator for the Deaf Communication Studies program on the St. Louis Community College campuses. And I want to welcome you all here today to honor our 2026 graduates from the DCS program. Before we begin, I wanted to just talk a little bit about some of the what's on your program, and you'll see irises up here. I wanted to explain the iris, and the representation of the iris is the goddess of messengers, and she traveled on rainbows to give her messages across from the gods to the people. And we pretty much feel that way about our profession, is we are messengers, and so we are asked to give the message accurately from one to another. So please know that's why the iris is all over your program, and they'll get irises today when they're pinned. Before we begin, I know you're not here for me. You're here to see the graduates be pinned. And I know that all of you have helped throughout the 3 years through the 1-year certificate and the 2-year program, the AA program. And I know how much time it takes for, if you look at the number of students that start in an ASL 1 class, American Sign Language 1 class, and the number of graduates in the end, you will know the difficulty of this program. So they have to be very dedicated and spend hours and hours working on their craft. So before we begin, and before I introduce Dr. Amy Mead, our dean, I'd like to introduce to you the class of 2026. So now I'd like Dr. Mead to come up and give you a few words of encouragement. I know many of you have emailed her and talked to her. She's helped us throughout the years in many different ways, and so I just wanted to invite her up to give you a few words of encouragement.
Well, if you're not here to see Dan, you're certainly not here to see me, but I'm so excited that I can add my congratulations to this extremely wonderful event. I just wanted to share a few words with all of you. To our graduates, today marks the culmination of years of hard work, long nights of practice, and an unwavering commitment to a craft that asks so much of you: precision, empathy, cultural fluency, and grace under pressure. You should be incredibly proud. To the families, friends, and loved ones in the audience, thank you for being here. You've supported these graduates through the challenges of this program, and your presence today is a gift to them. Sign language interpretation is not simply a profession. It is a calling rooted in service. Every day, interpreters stand in the gap, ensuring that deaf individuals have full and equal access to the world around them, to their doctors, their classrooms, their courtrooms, their celebrations, and their griefs. That access is not a small thing. It is dignity, it is independence, and it is community. The graduates we celebrate today have chosen to dedicate their skills, their voices, and their hands to that mission. You've chosen a field where the reward isn't always visible, but the impact is immeasurable. On behalf of everyone here, thank you for choosing this work, for choosing the deaf community. As you receive your pin today, may it be a reminder of the responsibility and the honor you now carry. Congratulations, graduates, and thank you all.
So before we begin, I want to talk a little bit about all it takes to put together a pinning and the many years of staff and faculty service. But I'd like to thank Dr. Patrick Mallory for being here today, the president of Florissant Valley, and also Dr. Perkins, who was our president last year. And then, of course, Dr. Kate Harrell, who is our pathway president at the Wildwood campus. You met Amy Mead, and if you all could stand and be recognized so we know who you are. So thank you so much. I know that we have many people throughout the practicum experience we have to thank, primarily the deaf community for allowing our students to work with you during the practicum experience and interpret for you in many, many different settings to give them experience. And many of the partners that we've worked with throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Also, there's just people who I have to mention. Of course, Mark Etchell, our photographer today, Karen Wade, the president's assistant who helps us throughout. Whenever I need anything, I call Karen. Marie McCool and T, who of course work with us here, T. Williamson, who work with us here at the theater. Erin Linder, who's actually doing the streaming in the back there. Of course, Kelly Mueller, who works with me and has helped me this summer a lot, so I really appreciate her work. But also all of the faculty and staff of the Deaf Communication Studies program. Could we just have you all stand for a moment and be recognized for your work with our students over the years? And then, of course, the secretarial pool that I can't do my job without, Julie Taylor and Evelyn McWilliams. Both of them are, I wouldn't be here without them. And so, you know, I think many people overlook those, but I don't know how many times a day I talk to Evelyn. I used to just yell down the hall, but now I'm in the HS building and she's over in the A1 building, and so there's no yelling down the hall anymore. So, but there's a lot of emails and a lot of cell phone conversations during the day. So I wanted to recognize all those people, and of course, the people that are interpreting for us, Tammy Kodlowski and Regina Driscoll, and then our tech staff here, Stephanie Lickletter, Dustin Massey, and Elsie Unger. All that happens to put this pinning on today, but throughout the 3 years, I'm meeting up with many of these people. So now we're going to talk about who the students selected to be the faculty speaker. So every year I ask that they select one faculty member that they felt was influential. And I know many of this class happened to start on the Wildwood campus. So I asked them, who would you like? And they said, she just happens to be my wife. But I said, well, you have to ask her, because if I ask her, she's going to say no. And that's going to be a definite no. So they put together an email and asked her, and of course, it was such a lovely email that she could say nothing but yes. So Lisa Gale Betzler will be addressing the graduates today.
Do I need this mic? Do I need this? What do you think? Do I need it? No? No? apologize to the interpreters. Okay, hello, welcome to the class of 2026. So really, I've been in the classroom with them. So how are you all doing? Amazing? Having a good day? Good? Excited? Why are you excited? For our speaker. That's why. Happy to be here. I'm fine. I'm good. Doing just fine. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I know you remember 3 years ago. You've been here for 3 years so far, right? So do you remember in the very beginning when you were taking the class and you thought, or before you took the class, I want to learn sign language. I'm going to try it. And you came in the class on the first day and you were so nervous. You said, okay, there was an interpreter there, and okay, you could breathe. And then we let you know there would be no interpreter from that point forward. And you said, what am I going to do? I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail this class. Oh, my goodness, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And, as a teacher, we said, relax, relax. We will take it slow with you. We will sign slow because you all are baby birds. But not anymore. Cheers to you. So now, as you learned, after the first year, you're like, okay, I've learned a lot. You felt really good. In the second year, you started to learn the interpreting process, and you hit that wall. And you're like, wait, this is so frustrating. This is different than sign language. Just learning sign language and the interpreting process is very different. So you hung in there through all the trials and tribulations, through tears and laughter. You kept learning. Some of this makes you feel a little bipolar there, people, but you kept going. You kept getting through. You hung in there up until today, and you are finally here. And I am not the only one who says finally. I told you all, your whole family, I'm sure they're like, finally, they're graduating. Right? Isn't that right, everyone? So I have 3 rules for you. The first rule, continue your goals of becoming an interpreter, right? Your goals are becoming an interpreter. So please do not just interpret. Keep signing, because we need that. We need the hearing and the deaf, the communication barriers. We need you all there to break those down. We need that. The second rule, continue learning deaf culture. Sometimes it will amaze you. The third and final message that I have for you, you need to have a just golden deaf heart. You need to have a heart for deaf people. And I wish you lots and lots and lots of luck in your new journey. If you need any help with interpreting the BCI, SCI, whatever you need, you know where to find me. You have Dan's phone number. So, for the class of 2026, congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa. The BEI is the test they have to take for the state, and of course the SCI is the board Lisa served on for more than 20 years, the State Committee of Interpreters. So you want to be her friend because that's the disciplinary board. Second, I want to talk about the Suzanne Kamen Award, which we give annually for the Alumni of the Year. Many people did not have the chance to work with Suzanne. I did. As a young interpreter, a long time ago, Suzanne and I worked together. She was an early graduate. She died very young of cancer. And so we decided to name the Alumni Award for Suzanne. But one of the stories I have about Suzanne was I was working here at Florissant Valley and at SIUE as a post-secondary interpreter. So I did a lot of transliterating in class. What that means is signing in an English word order because I had post-secondary educated deaf people. And I took a job with the city of St. Louis in the Department of Human Services, and it was a wake-up call. And I was doing a lecture for the Department of Health with a group of deaf people, and they were all looking so confused. And of course, I was interpreting like it was an anatomy class. And Suzanne was in the back of the room, and she started throwing all the ASL signs that I needed. Like, Dan, this is not a college class. This is the real world. So I actually changed my mode right away. And afterwards, I had to go up and thank her. But we have named this award for her because of her work in the community. And I first met her at a place called JEVS, the Jewish Educational Vocational Services, which was located on 17th and Locust. It's now MERS Goodwill. But it services the deaf and hard of hearing population in vocational settings. So it teaches computer literacy, it teaches working on appliances, also restaurant work. So people who the vocational rehabilitation do not feel are college material, they will be taught a vocation through MERS Goodwill on 17th and Locust. And so to introduce our recipient, who I love, a graduate of this program, who actually has done so much for the deaf community over the years that I couldn't pass her work up. She has oftentimes not recognized for what she does in our community, and I don't know an interpreter that doesn't know her name and respect her work. So I'm not going to introduce her. I could talk a lot about her, but actually Katie Roberts, one of our adjunct faculty and a graduate of this program, is going to introduce the Suzanne Kamen Alumni Award.
Okay. Oh no, hold on. It's been good this whole time. It was ready. Good afternoon. Congratulations, graduates. When Dan called and asked me if I would present this award, I hesitated. I don't do public speaking. Ironic that I'm an interpreter, I get that. But I don't use my words, I use other people's words. When he told me who was receiving the award, it was the fastest and most enthusiastic yes I could say. It was not long ago that we were sitting where you guys are today. Interpreting in general can feel like a very isolating job sometimes, but Leslie is one of just a few people who I've consistently worked with throughout my interpreting career. When you hear interpreters, I am not crying. I am not breathing. That's my problem. Okay. When you hear interpreters talk about finding your people, she's one of my people. She makes my job easier. She's been the person I vent to when things go off the rails, cry to when things go really bad at work, and laugh with when I feel like I'm getting punked on a job. I know without a doubt that she has the deaf community at heart and prioritizes them in her everyday decision-making process. Her professional journey began with a spark at a church camp where she met a deaf camper and an interpreter. This transformative experience led her here, graduating from the DCS program in 2014. Soon after graduating, she accepted a position as a scheduler, launching her impactful career at Deaf Inc. She is currently the lead coordinating scheduler, where she specializes in coordinating high-quality interpreting and captioning services. With over 11 years of dedicated service, Leslie works tirelessly to ensure fluid scheduling and seamless communication access for customers, interpreters, and deaf and hearing clients alike. Known throughout the organization for her unwavering positivity and dedication, she has been a foundational rock in transforming the scheduling department into a highly efficient, well-operating team. Outside of her work, she enjoys spending time with her loved ones, her husband, John Michael, and children Lachey, John, Jaden, and Leia, and the church community. She's always adventuring and making new memories. It is my honor to introduce the 2026 Suzanne Cateman Alumni Award to my colleague and friend, Leslie Brown.
I am so honored to be the recipient of this award, and I am overjoyed to share in this celebration with you and all your loved ones here today. Graduates, each one of you experienced that same spark that I did that led you to pursue this path. And each one of you should use what you've learned and put into practice. There are several truths that I want to remind you of today. You are knowledgeable, you're trained and equipped. You have worked so hard and you've put in so much time. And friends, your time and your money was not a waste. 12 years ago, I sat in your seat and I had such a roller coaster journey through the DCS program, but a wonderful experience as well with practicum. And I was exhausted, but yet excited for what would come next. Your work is not finished. The need in the community is tremendous. I had no idea the depth of reach and the opportunity that knowing ASL and the interpreting world could hold. Interpreting was my plan. And I did it for a short time, actually. And then a shift occurred when I became open to the opportunity to take on scheduling for interpreting. And 11 years later, here I am, still going strong. And I have learned that there are other ways to use the skills that I learned. And I continue to find great reward in directly being part of making communication access happen. I am in a unique position to get to connect both the hearing world and the deaf world through providing the interpreter and supporting each aspect of each of those parties. I build connections and relationships, and I love it. I love the work I do. I came to understand the significant impact of this work and the value that it holds. For those of you still unsure what this journey will take you, where it will take you, I'm proof that there are other avenues that you can tap into to use your skills. There's a reason why you have put in this time and that you've chosen this path. I know it's not because you thought it would be easy, because it's not. And, it's not a quick money maker kind of thing, even though you can make good money. No, you have a heart for the deaf community. And I know you have a passion inside of you to be involved and to serve. Take your gift and these skills and put them into action. Continue to fan the flame and let that continue to grow and to be put into place in the community. Make your mark. There is a whole community that will come alongside you and support you and cheer you on, and I hope to work with you someday as well. Congratulations, graduates.
So also I asked the students to ask for one student to represent them, speaking for the class today. That's a very difficult task, but the student they chose was our Deaf Communication Studies Club president. She also was honored by the Student Government Association as the pillar of Florissant Valley Community College. So, Olivia, would you come up?
As you guys can see, in the slideshow, I put a picture of my graduation cap. I wrote, "Have the courage to follow your heart." That quote embodies my journey into becoming an interpreter. It means to me starting something new, taking a chance, and going after what I've always wanted to become. I came into this program in a non-traditional way, unsure of where it would lead. Before the program, I was completely in my shell, scared to try new things and afraid to fail. But with the encouragement from my mom, I decided to go forth and go after what I wanted, to follow my heart. At first, going to deaf events alone and barely knowing the language was terrifying. My first time going out alone as a new first-year student, I had just recently learned how to sign, "Can I sit?" and "My name is." And it was an interesting situation, but I was shut down. One person could take that moment and decide to walk away. I almost did. But instead, I decided to stick it out. I kept saying yes. I kept pushing those boundaries and limits because you grow through the uncomfortable moments. If it were easy, everyone would do it. That decision to keep showing up even when it was hard changed everything. It led me to run for vice president and later on president of the DCS Club, something the old me would have never imagined I would do. The new me learned that growth happens when you step into discomfort, when you learn to say yes to opportunities that scare you. And that's what this class has done together. We've all faced moments of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, but we've all shown up. We supported each other through challenges, encouraged one another to keep going, and celebrated every small victory. We learned that courage doesn't mean never being afraid. It means moving forward anyways. And that's what it means to become an interpreter. Through the encouragement of my classmates and the guidance of our faculty and deaf community, we found purpose, belonging, and confidence. Each one of us has taken a different path to get here. Some of us started this journey years ago. Others found it unexpectedly. But what unites us is the courage to begin and the determination to keep going. This class of 2026 has been more than a group of students. We've become a support system for each other. We've supported each other through challenges, celebrated each other's successes, learned together, sometimes through laughter, sometimes through tears. We've collaborated, practiced, and grew side by side, discovering that interpreting is not just about skill, but about trust, teamwork, and heart. We've learned from another's strengths and lifted each other up when things got hard. Every go react homework monologue that seemed like the person was speaking a million miles a minute, truck time, every shared moment of taking snack breaks outside, every time we've practiced interpreting for each other, even when it was super stressful and uncomfortable, we pushed through anyways. Each one of these moments has brought us closer to today. To the administration, thank you for creating opportunities and supporting our growth. To our faculty, your dedication, mentorship, and guidance have shaped us into the interpreters we are going to become. You've challenged us, believed in us, and reminded us that excellence comes from effort and heart. To our friends and family, thank you for standing beside us through long nights of studying, endless practice sessions, and moments of doubt. Your patience and love has carried us through to today. To my family, thank you for believing in me and supporting me every step of the way and being my biggest cheerleaders. To our sister college, SWIC, we've grown and learned alongside you, supporting each other, sharing experiences, and building a community that extends beyond campuses. To the interpreters and the deaf community, thank you for welcoming us, teaching us, and reminding us why this work matters. You are the reason we strive to do better today. And to the class of 2026, thank you. We've laughed, cried, signed, and supported one another through every challenge. We've learned that interpreting isn't just about language, it's about connection, empathy, and courage. Today marks a milestone, one we wouldn't be here to celebrate without the support, encouragement, and belief of everyone around us, Congratulations, class of 2026. We did it. It's the best has yet to come, and continue to have the courage to follow your hearts.
Thank you so much, Olivia. So now we're going to have the presentation of the pins, but before we do that, I have a few words to say to the class. I'll be brief, like I always am. And I know when you experienced fear, it was walking into Lisa's classroom. So I remember when I would say, how's it going? And you'd all look at me like deer in the headlights. So she's a force to be reckoned with. Anyway, I just wanted to say congratulations, and I know the hours of work, the many texts and emails that you've gotten from me. I did learn that this year was really hard to get email responses. You really have to get texts. I learned that. It used to be I had to call them on the phone, and I remember during practicum being on the phone that was connected to the wall, since I've been teaching that class since 1989. So I was like, oh my God, they're not answering my emails. Why aren't they answering my emails? And then I text them, oh, well, we got a group text. Let's do, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's how I learned. But I wanted to just wish you congratulations. I know I've had you for many classes, and I've watched this class shrink, especially over that last year where the class has become very difficult. So congratulations, you made it. So now oh, I did want to say one more thing. There's two faculty members that won't be with us next year, Eric Driscoll and Tracy Razor. And I wanted to just recognize them for their work with us over the years. Don't clap into the mic. And Tracy and Esther will be pinning the graduates as I announce their names. And then there's an iris there along with the pin, and then there's a little swag bag from the department. So your names are on there, by the way, the bag. So anyway, all right, if Tracy and Esther would come up. Tracy is one of our ASL instructors, and then Esther is our lab person who is in a lot of classes with me. Our first recipient is Caleb Bolton. Caleb is not here. When I announced the date, it was 6 months ago, and he was like, Dan, that's my 21st birthday. I'm not going to be there. So I knew then that he wasn't coming. But I actually just saw him a few days ago. He's doing well. I had to pick up his journal, and he lives way out, so I said, let's meet halfway so you don't have to drive all the way to North County, and so I got his final work last week. Second is Leah Leifer. Turn around, Leah. Okay. Kevin Petridis. Lydia Perry. Olivia Ranson. Elizabeth Shepperly. Allison Seymour. Valerie Wicks. Congratulations, class of 2026. In closing, I want to invite you all to, I'm going to ask the graduates to stay on stage, so if anyone would like to take a photograph of the group together. Also, we'd like to invite you to a reception out in the lobby of the theater. You can take photos out there as well, but I'm going to ask you to stay here for just a few minutes so that your friends and family can take photographs of you as a group. Thank you so much for attending. I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Oh, did you? Oh, sure. Wait, I was looking for your car. I was like, is she here or almost here? Yeah, let's go. We can show her the outside.